The morning Lisa slammed my kitchen door, I felt it that cold, sharp feeling you only get when somebody walks into your home carrying revenge in their heart. And I don't mean the loud, dramatic kind of revenge you see on TV. No baby, this was the quiet kind, the slow-burning kind, the kind that creeps into a woman long before she ever says a word. Hook, I was standing by the stove that morning, stirring my oatmeal the way I do every day, slow, steady, trying to keep my spirit peaceful when that door cracked so loud the whole house jumped with it. Lisa didn't even look at me, didn't say good morning, didn't say, Mama. She just walked in like she was dragging a storm behind her. Hook, her footsteps were heavy, not tired heavy, but decision heavy, like she'd already made up her mind before she ever stepped out of bed. And baby, I've lived long enough to know, people who walk with that kind of weight aren't looking for conversation, they're looking for confrontation. But before I take you any deeper into this morning, let me welcome you properly. You're watching Grandma Stories at Grandma Megan. Tell me in the comments. Which city are y'all watching from? I love knowing where my babies listen from. Alright, come closer now, because what happened next shifted the whole foundation of this family. Hook, Lisa dropped her purse on my table with a thud, like she wanted to crack the wood. Or maybe, crack me. Then she pulled out a chair and sat down slowly, real slowly, the way people sit when they're preparing themselves to speak poison. Her hands were trembling, just a little, but it wasn't nervousness. It was controlled anger, the kind that builds when a person has replayed the same argument in their head 1,000 times. I asked softly, Lisa, you okay, sweetheart? She didn't blink. She didn't even breathe for a second, and then, in a tone so cold it scraped the walls, don't call me sweetheart. Hook, baby, let me tell you, that one sentence, it cut deeper than any shout or scream could have. Because when a woman rejects kindness, she's already chosen war. She finally lifted her eyes and looked at me. And Lord, those weren't the eyes of the girl I once knew, the timid girl who used to adjust her sleeves when she felt shy, the girl who laughed, too soft, the girl who hugged me with both arms like she meant it. Soft flashback, as you requested, I remember the first time she hugged me, the day after the wedding. She held on tight, small hands, gentle fingers, and whispered, thank you for raising him. Back then her eyes had light in them, a sweetness, a softness, a girl searching for belonging. But the woman standing in front of me that morning, that softness was gone, burned out, killed by something I couldn't see yet. Hook, she leaned back in the chair, arms crossed, jaw clenched, like she was holding words back with her teeth. Lisa, talk to me, I said quietly. What's bothering you? She gave me a smile, not a warm one, not a polite one, but the kind of smile people use right before they hand you bad news. A smile that said, I'm done pretending. She looked around my kitchen like she was seeing it for the last time, the photos on the wall, the mugs lined up, the little wooden spoon I've had for 30 years, and then her eyes stopped on something. My son's picture, the one from his graduation. Her face hardened even more when I realized this wasn't random anger, this wasn't mood, this wasn't stress, this was targeted, Hook, she leaned forward, slow, intentional, and said my name in a voice I didn't even recognize. Megan, we need to talk. Not Mama Megan. Not Mom. Just Megan and baby. That was the moment the ground shifted beneath my feet. Because when your daughter-in-law stops calling you Mama, she's not just angry, she's rewriting the relationship, erasing the bond, erasing the respect. Erasing. Hook. I opened my mouth to answer her, but she raised her hand, silencing me, a gesture nobody in this house ever dared use with me. I froze, not out of fear, but out of shock, because Lisa wasn't acting like somebody who came to discuss something. She was acting like somebody who came to deliver something heavy. Something dangerous, something she'd been carrying for months. Her voice dropped to a cold whisper. I'm tired of being quiet, and baby, my whole spirit went still. Hook, silence filled the kitchen, thick, hot, suffocating silence, and I knew it then. This wasn't the beginning of an argument, it was the beginning of her revenge, and I didn't even know why yet, but I was about to find out, very, very soon. babe. Revenge has a smell. It's cold, metallic, like the moment before a storm breaks loose. And that's exactly what filled my living room when Lisa closed that door behind her. I swear I felt something shift in my house, like the walls themselves knew trouble had just stepped in. Wearing perfume. She stood there, arms folded tight, like she was holding herself together with anger and habit. My son Malik. He stood a few steps behind, pretending to scroll his phone, but I saw the way his jaw pulsed. That boy was bracing for impact, same way he used to brace when thunder hit our old roof. I lifted my mug, that old chipped blue one, the one my late husband bought me from a roadside diner on a long ago Sunday drive. That mug always felt like armor. Symbolic, maybe. Something solid, something mine. Well, I said, blowing on my coffee, you both look like somebody called y'all here to settle a debt. Lisa's eyes flickered, sharp, cutting. Not the eyes of a villain. No, baby, the eyes of a woman who'd been hurt way deeper than she let herself say. And for a moment, a soft memory nudged the edge of my mind. Lisa at 22, sitting at my kitchen table, laughing too loud, trusting too easy, calling me mom before she ever earned it, back when she used to smile like joy didn't cost her anything. But that girl was long gone. Can we sit? She asked, voice trembling under its anger. Hum, I said, moving slow, letting silence stretch. Silence always reveals more than yelling. They sat across from me together, but not together, a whole marriage-sized crack between them. Lisa set her phone on the table like it was evidence. I need to say something, she began, and I want everything to be on record. I raised my eyebrow. On record? Girl, this ain't court. No, she snapped, but maybe it should have been years ago. Malik swallowed hard. Lisa, don't do this here. Oh, I'm doing it right here, she said, voice turning sharp like broken glass, because your mother needs to know what you've been hiding. My fingers tightened around my mug. See, baby, there's a special kind of fear only a mother knows, the fear of what you're about to hear when your child is involved. Lisa took a breath, steadying herself. The reason I've been acting strange, the reason I seem angry all the time, is because someone's been trying to break our marriage. Her eyes locked onto mine, not blinking, not shaking. And that someone, she said, voice cracking at the edges, might be under this very roof. The clock on the wall ticked louder than it should have. I stared at her, stared hard, because in all my years, if you're wondering, no one ever threw a bomb like that in my kitchen and lived to tell the story. Explain, I said softly. She leaned forward, elbows on the table, shoulders trembling with anger she'd been carrying too long. I found messages, she said, not rumors, not guesses, proof. Malik groaned, face in his hands. Lisa, those weren't, don't lie again. She cut him off, voice sharp, don't you dare. Then she looked back at me. Someone's been telling my husband things about me, saying I'm cheating, saying I'm stealing, saying I'm manipulating him. My heart thudded once, heavy, because the way she said someone, she wasn't talking in general, she was aiming, right at me. My eyes narrowed. That what you think, that I'm behind all this? She hesitated, just a heartbeat, but it was enough, enough for pain to crawl up my spine. Lisa, I said slow, I raised that boy on honesty and grit. I don't do whispers, I don't do schemes, and I sure don't tear down nobody's marriage. Lisa's chin trembled. I don't want to believe it, she whispered. But Malik listens to you more than he listens to anyone. That sentence, that one right there, felt like a knife dipped in truth and fear, because she wasn't wrong. Malik always came to me first, always had, always would, and that kind of bond, women either respect it or they resent it. Lisa chewed her lip, voice softening just for a second. I'm tired, Mom. I'm so tired. I feel like someone is taking revenge on me, and I don't even know what I did. Revenge. That word again, heavy, ugly, sitting between us like a loaded gun. My mind drifted just for a moment, to the time I saw Lisa crying in the backyard 3 years ago, hands shaking, staring at her wedding ring like it was choking her finger. She wiped her tears fast. When I walked out, never said why she was crying. There was something broken in her long before this mess began. Something from her past she never talked about. But right now, her pain was aimed at me. And my son. He was sitting silent. Afraid. Ashamed. I put my mug down, slow and steady. Baby, I said, voice low but firm. If you truly believe I'd sabotage your marriage, you don't know me at all. Lisa blinked fast. Then, who's doing it? Malik leaned back, defeated. Lisa, you're not seeing things clearly. Oh, I'm seeing everything clearly, she snapped. And I swear, if I find out someone's been turning you against me, I will take my revenge. There it was, plain as the midday sun. Threat, trembling under hurt. Pain, disguised as anger, fear, hiding behind accusations. She wasn't the villain. She wasn't the monster. She was drowning, and she needed someone to blame. I took a breath, slow and measured, reminding myself that even the loudest anger comes from a quiet wound. All right, I said, y'all wanna fix this? Fine, we're gonna talk. All three of us. Ain't nobody leaving this table until we get the truth. Lisa looked at me with a mixture of defiance and exhaustion. Malik closed his eyes, bracing himself, and me. I tightened my grip around that chipped blue mug, the last steady thing in the room, because I knew the truth was coming. And truths, baby, don't come quiet. They come roaring. Before the truth hit my kitchen like a freight train, something happened, something I didn't fully understand until much later. But now that I'm sitting here telling you this story, I can see it clear as day. Because the moment Lisa opened her mouth to accuse me, a memory stirred, not mine, hers, a memory she tried to bury. Lisa stood in a dim hallway, not my house, not hers, somewhere older, colder, with peeling floral wallpaper. She wasn't crying. She was panicking. Her hands shook as she clutched her phone, whispering, "No, no, you can't call me again. I told you, it's over. I'm married now." If Malik finds out, a shadow moved in the background, someone tall, someone male. His voice came low, dangerous. "You can change your number all you want, Lisa. Secrets don't disappear." Lisa flinched, her breathing broke. She turned away, whispering, "Please, I have a life now. Don't ruin this for me." The man stepped closer, just enough for his outline to show. "I don't ruin lives," he said. "I just remind people where they came from." Lisa froze, eyes wide, terrified, because she knew what he meant. And baby, the look on her face told me all I needed to know. She wasn't just angry. She was hiding something. Something that could destroy everything. Asterisk, 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 flashback fades. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Lisa sat across from me, hands clenched, jaw tight, but now when I looked at her, I didn't just see anger. I saw fear. The kind of fear only a secret can cause. She didn't know I'd seen that flicker in her expression, that moment where her mask slipped. But I did. And now I was watching her carefully, because her anger wasn't only about me, it was about something she didn't want uncovered. Malik sat between us, shoulders hunched like a boy at the principal's office. I set my mug down. "All right," I said, calm but firm. "We're gonna talk like grown folks. Nobody leaves this table until we do." Lisa swallowed hard. Malik rubbed the back of his neck. The air felt tight, like the moment before lightning hits a tree. Lisa leaned forward, voice low but trembling. "Malik hasn't been honest with me, and someone is feeding him things, lies, poison, things that turn him against me." Malik's head shot up. "I never you did," she snapped. "You believed every rumor, everything someone whispered in your ear." Her eyes flicked at me again, accusation without saying the words. I felt my jaw tighten. "Lisa," I said, "if you have something to say to me, say it. Stop dancing around it." She hesitated, her throat working like she was swallowing stones. Then, "I think someone in this family wants me gone." The room went still. The refrigerator, hummed. The clock ticked. Somewhere outside, a dog barked. She wasn't yelling anymore. She was scared, truly scared, and that made her twice as dangerous. Malik shook his head. "Nobody wants you gone. You're imagining." She slammed her hand on the table. "Don't tell me what I'm imagining. You don't see what I see." Her voice cracked, her anger broke, and beneath it, there it was again. Fear. Real, bone-deep fear. I leaned back slowly. "Lisa, what exactly are you afraid of?" She blinked fast, breath shaky. "I'm afraid someone is setting me up." Malik scoffed, "But baby, I didn't." Because her voice, it didn't sound dramatic. It sounded like a woman running from something that already caught her once. I folded my arms. "What kind of setup?" Lisa looked down at her hands. Then she whispered, barely audible, "Texts, photos, messages." My chest tightened. "What messages?" She hesitated. "Too long. Way too long." Like she wasn't sure if she should tell us, or if telling would expose something else. Finally, she pulled out her phone, Screen cracked at the corner, like someone grabbed it too hard once. She opened a folder. Hidden, locked behind a password. My eyebrow lifted. A hidden folder. Oh baby, my generation knows what that means. She turned it toward Malik first. These are the messages your mother supposedly sent you, telling you I'm cheating. Malik frowned. I didn't get those. Lisa's voice was thin, shaky. You did. From an unknown number. I leaned in. Let me see. She hesitated too long again, but handed it to me. I scrolled. Baby, my blood ran cold. Because the messages didn't sound like me, but they did sound like someone trying real hard to imitate me. My phrasing, my tone, my little verbal habits. Close enough to fool someone who wasn't paying attention. Not close enough to fool me. I set the phone down. That ain't my writing, I said. Somebody copied my tone, but they don't know my voice. Lisa stared at me, searching my face for a lie. She didn't find one. She looked confused, then scared again. Then who? She whispered. Malik leaned forward. Lisa, who would want to break us up? Lisa's mouth opened, then closed. Her fingers shook. Because she knew. She absolutely knew, but she didn't want to say it. Not in front of me, not in front of him, not in front of anybody. I narrowed my eyes, and I asked her the question she never expected me to ask. Lisa, who from your past is threatening you? Her head snapped up, eyes wide, like I'd grabbed the secret she was trying to bury. Malik looked between us, confused. What past? He asked. Lisa froze. A long, heavy silence filled the room, and that's when I realized, baby, my daughter-in-law wasn't fighting us. She was fighting a ghost she'd hoped she'd never see again. And that ghost was stepping right into my kitchen. The moment I asked Lisa about her past, it felt like someone turned the lights down in my kitchen. Not literally, but the air changed, thickened, tightened, like the truth itself walked in and pulled up a chair. Lisa froze so hard she didn't even blink. Malik stared at her, confused, worried, and a little hurt, because a wife with a secret. It's bleeding. I leaned forward. Baby, I said softly, tell the truth. Who's threatening you? Lisa swallowed, once, twice. Her throat was dry. Then she whispered, no one. A lie, plain as day. I tilted my head. Hum. Try again. Malik ran his hand over his face. Lisa, what's going on? Who is this? She looked at him, and in her expression was terror, mixed with guilt. Malik, I didn't want to bring my past into our marriage. That sentence alone made his whole body stiffen. What past? Lisa closed her eyes, exhaled shakily. There's someone I used to know. Before you, before us. Malik's face twisted. An ex. No, she said fast, a little too fast. My eyes narrowed. It wasn't an ex. It was something worse. A shadow, a mistake, a danger. Lisa's fingers dug into her jeans. I told you everything when we got married, she said, voice trembling. I told you I didn't have family left, and I didn't. I told you I had no ties to anyone toxic, and I didn't. She paused. Not then. The look on her face told me she wasn't lying about the past, but something had dragged itself back into her life. Something unwanted. I kept my voice steady. Lisa, that man I saw in your eyes, that shadow, he ain't imaginary. Who is he? She shook her head suddenly. I can't. You don't understand if I talk. I'll drag this family into something. Malik grabbed her hand. Lisa, nothing you say will make me walk away. Her lip trembled, and that's when she broke. Not loud, not dramatic, just cracked. His name is Dion, she whispered. Silence hit the table like a dropped plate. Malik blinked. Who is Dion? Lisa looked at me first like she needed a witness to her own truth. He was my mother's boyfriend, she said. And when she died, he kept showing up, calling me, following me, trying to make me owe him something. I felt a cold chill roll across my spine. Men like that, I've seen them. I know them. They don't disappear, Lisa continued, voice shaking. I moved cities, changed my number, changed everything. A tear rolled down her cheek. I thought he was gone. I whispered. He wasn't. She shook her head, defeated. He found me again last month. Malik's eyebrows shot up. Last month? Why didn't you tell me? Lisa sniffed. I didn't want to scare you. I didn't want him anywhere near our marriage. Malik's jaw tightened. So instead you let him threaten you alone. Lisa looked down. Yes, baby. In that moment, the pieces clicked in my head, like puzzle locks. The messages, the fake accusations, the imitation of my voice, the attempt to break them apart. It wasn't random. It wasn't paranoia. It wasn't Lisa imagining enemies. It was that man, that ghost, from her past pulling strings from the shadows. Because men like that, they don't want love in their victims' lives. They want control. I leaned in, voice low. Lisa, did he send those messages pretending to be me? Her eyes filled with guilt and fear. I don't know, but the timing, the number, the tone. She shook her head. It's him, it has to be. Malik pushed his chair back, anger boiling under his skin. I'll handle it. No, Lisa almost shouted. You don't know what he's capable of. I tapped the table. Baby, ain't nobody comes after my family without answering to me. Lisa stared at me, startled. You're not mad at me. I raised an eyebrow. Mad, honey, you're drowning and clawing for air. I ain't mad at a woman fighting for her life. She broke into tears, quiet, shaking tears. Malik slid closer, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. But her eyes were on me, searching for judgment, expecting it. They always say I cause drama, she whispered. But I'm not trying to. I'm just tired of running. And baby, that hit me harder than any accusation ever could, because I finally understood Lisa's anger. It wasn't aimed at us. It was aimed at the fear she carried like a shadow. A fear she never asked for. I nodded slowly. All right then, I said. We deal with what's in front of us. Malik frowned. And what's in front of us? I tapped Lisa's phone gently. Someone is pretending to be me, to break y'all apart. She nodded. That's exactly what it is. Malik clenched his fist. We're going to the police. Lisa shook her head violently. No, you don't get it. He doesn't get scared. He gets angry. I stared at her. Then asked the question she didn't want to answer. Lisa, did he threaten you directly? Her silence told me everything. Bothnick leaned forward. What did he say? Lisa's breath hitched. He said. She wiped her eyes, voice cracking. He said, if I don't pick up his calls, he'll take something important from me. My entire body went still. Something important, I repeated quietly. Like what? Money, your peace, your home. Lisa shook her head. No. Her voice dropped to a whisper. He meant Malik. Malik's face drained of color. I felt rage curl low in my chest, old, motherly, primal. This wasn't just a threat. It was a declaration of war. And baby, I've lived long enough to know something. The only thing more dangerous than a man with a grudge is a mother defending her child. The moment Lisa whispered that man's threat, he meant Malik. My whole world went quiet. Not peaceful quiet. Not calm quiet. The kind of quiet that comes right before an earthquake. Malik froze, staring at her like she'd just spoken a language he'd never heard before. Me, he whispered. He threatened me. Lisa nodded weakly. I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want you caught in it. Caught in it. That phrase rattled around in my head like loose change, because baby, families don't get caught in trouble like this. Families get swallowed. I pushed my chair back, hands flat on the table. All right now, the real story's on the table. I looked at both of them. Listen close. They both looked at me, waiting. Malik scared for the first time. Lisa already broken open. I pointed at Lisa gently. You've been dealing with this man alone. Terrified. Carrying the weight, and that kind of fear, it don't stay quiet. It spills over, into anger, into suspicion, into the people closest to you. Lisa wiped her nose with her sleeve, nodding. Malik leaned forward, voice shaking. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Lisa lifted her hands helplessly. Because I knew you. I knew you'd go after him, and he doesn't fight fair. Her voice cracked. He doesn't just hurt people. He destroys things. He ruins lives to feel powerful. Malik clenched his fists so hard I heard a knuckle pop. I'm not scared of him. But Lisa grabbed his wrist hard. I am. Her voice broke on that last word. And baby, there's something about hearing a grown woman say, I am scared. That hits different. It's raw. Honest. Terrifying. I took a breath. So Lisa, you think the messages came from him? She nodded. It's exactly the kind of mind game he plays. He wants you to lose trust in me. She swallowed. He wants me alone, no support, no family. No family. So I'm easier to control. I felt heat climb up my neck. The kind of heat that comes from a mother's rage simmering low and steady. Let me see that phone again, I said. She handed it over, hands trembling. I opened the message thread. The writing wasn't mine, but it was close enough to fool someone who wasn't used to deciphering truth from imitation. I scrolled carefully, reading every line, and then I saw it. A word I never use, a spelling mistake I would never make, a curse word I've never once said in my life, and finally, a phrase I recognized, not from me, but from someone else entirely, a phrase used by a certain type of man. Asterisk, asterisk, a woman like her needs discipline. Asterisk, asterisk, my breath stopped for half a second. Oh hell no, I muttered. Malik sat up straighter. What is it? I turned the phone so he could see. That phrase, right there. He squinted. Okay, and I shook my head slowly. I heard that exact same phrase once, years ago, used by a man who thought women were property. Lisa's shoulders pulled in tight. Sounds like him, she whispered. That's exactly how he talks. Malik stood up suddenly, pushing his chair back. That's it, we're going to the police. Right now. Lisa shot up too, panicked. No, you don't understand, Lisa. I'm not letting some man threaten my mother, my wife, or me. Her voice cracked as she grabbed his shirt. Malik, please, he said, if I ever brought the law into this SIF, I ever told anyone he'd take everything from me, everything. That word hit me like a punch, baby, I said quietly. What does everything mean to him? Lisa closed her eyes. And the way her face twisted, I knew it before she said it. He meant my life. He meant yours. He meant making us disappear. Malik went pale. I felt my stomach drop. Lisa continued, voice barely a whisper. He doesn't threaten, he promises. For a long moment, nobody spoke. The refrigerator, HUMMED. The clock ticked. My breath felt loud in my own chest. Finally, I straightened my spine. Well, if he thinks we're scared, he ain't met me. Malik blinked. Mom, no, I cut him off. My whole life, I've dealt with men like him, starting fights they think they can finish, thinking women don't talk, don't fight. BAFTA don't stand tall. I pointed at Lisa. He's banking on your silence. I pointed at Malik. He's banking on your fear. Then I pressed my hand flat on the table, my voice steady as steel. But he sure as hell ain't banking on me. Lisa's eyes widened. Mom, what are you thinking? I leaned back in my chair. Calm, controlled, sharpened by age and experience. First thing we do, I said, is stop reacting. Fear is fuel to a man like that. Malik nodded slowly. And the second thing, I looked them both dead in the eyes. The second thing, I said, is we figure out how he got your number. Lisa, she froze. Malik frowned. What do you mean? I folded my arms. There's only two ways a man like that finds someone after years. I raised one finger. One, he followed you. Lisa shook her head quickly. I would have noticed that. Raised the second finger. Two, someone gave him access. That hit the table like thunder. Lisa's face drained of color. Malik stared, stunned. I leaned forward, voice low. Somebody helped him find you. Lisa covered her mouth with her hand, eyes filling with horror. Malik whispered. I looked at both of them. Then I looked at the door. Because suddenly, I wasn't sure we were alone in this story anymore. And baby, that was the moment I knew. We weren't dealing with a ghost. We were dealing with a trap. Asterisk. Sometimes you think you've already seen the whole storm, and then the sky splits open a second time. I stood there in my own kitchen, barefoot on the cold tile, pretending my hands weren't shut. Lisa sat across from me at the table like she owned the sunlight coming through the blinds, and my son, he paced, back and forth, like a man's circle in a fire he didn't realize he started. Told you. Lisa finally muttered, her voice low but sharp. Your mother is always suspicious of me. Suspicious, Lord. I felt my jaw tighten so hard I could feel my pulse in my teeth. Baby girl, I said, slow and steady. I don't get suspicious unless somebody gives me a reason. She didn't blink, not even once. My son dropped into the chair beside her, rubbing his forehead. Can we not do this right now? We've had a long night. A long night. He said it like I was the cause. I leaned forward on the counter, studying the both of them. Well, someone needs to talk about last night. The phone call, the crying, the argument in my damn driveway at midnight. Lisa stiffened. It wasn't about you. No, I said quietly, but it was about something. And I'm tired of everybody walking through this house like ghosts, pretending nothing's going on. My son gave a humorless laugh. Mom, not every problem needs to be dissected. Only the dangerous ones, I replied. He looked up, startled, not angry, just startled, like he'd heard the truth in my voice. But Lisa, her face didn't move. just her hands, fingers tapping the mug I gave her, slow, rhythmic, tap, tap, double quotes. Your mother thinks I'm hiding something, she murmured. I don't think, I said softly. I know. That was the first moment she broke eye contact. Just for a second, just long enough. Memory drifted through me, one of those things that comes uninvited. Lisa. 4 months ago, standing in the backyard, phone pressed to her ear, whispering like her words could burn the air. She didn't see me sitting on the porch, didn't know her voice carried. No, not yet. I can't. He doesn't know. That was the day her real voice slipped, the one she tries to bury under sweetness and polite little smiles. And baby, once you hear a truth like that, you can't unhear it. Back in the present, Lisa lifted her head, gave me that small, pretty little eye smile. Fine, Megan, you want honesty, she said softly. Let's be honest. My son sat up straighter, like he already regretted letting her talk. I was crying last night, she continued, because someone from my past reached out, someone who shouldn't have. My breath caught. Not because I was shocked, but because the story had finally started. My son asked, frowning. Lisa hesitated, and there it was, the crack, the delay. 1 second to long pause of someone looking for the safest lie. An ex, she finally said. My son's shoulders dropped in relief. My stomach tightened. No, baby, that wasn't the truth. That wasn't even close. And I could tell she knew I knew, because she wouldn't look at me. That's it, my son asked gently. He reached out. And that's why you were upset. Lisa nodded fast, too fast. I didn't want you to misunderstand, she whispered. My son leaned in, kissing her forehead. I don't care about your past, baby. Past, Lord have mercy. Lisa's past wasn't behind her. It was sitting right here between us at the table, breathing the same air, poisoning the same morning. I straightened up. The room suddenly felt too warm. My son looked at me expectantly. Mom, you have anything to say? Anything to say? I could have said 100 things. I could have said, your wife ain't scared of her past. She's scared of it, catching up. Your wife didn't cry from memories. She cried from consequences. Your wife ain't being threatened. She's hiding something. But instead, I chose something gentler. Something that wouldn't light a match in a room full of gasoline. Just remember, I said quietly, the truth always comes with footsteps. Sooner or later, it shows up on your doorstep. Lisa's eyes snapped toward me, sharp, not scared, not guilty, defensive. You don't trust me, she said. You don't give me a reason to, I replied. My son stood. Enough, both of you. He walked to the sink, running water over his hands like maybe he could wash off the tension. Lisa reached for his arm. Baby, let's just start fresh, please. He nodded, exhausted. Yeah, maybe we should, but I watched her face. That wasn't a woman begging for peace. That was a woman buying time. Lisa stood up to pour herself more coffee, and that's when I saw it when she lifted her sleeve. A bruise. Faint. Old enough to be yellowing, but clear enough to be real. My breath snagged. Not a fresh injury. Not something from last night. Something older. Something she'd been hiding behind long sleeves and careful movements. She caught me looking, froze, then tugged the sleeve down so fast the fabric snapped. My son didn't see it, but she knew I did, and the look she gave me, baby, that wasn't fear. That was warning. A message without words. Stay out of it. But she had no idea who she was dealing with. I raised my chin, meeting her stare, my voice steady as stone. Lisa, who put that bruise on you? My son turned immediately. What bruise? Lisa shot me a look that could slice flesh. I don't know what your mother thinks she saw, she said quickly, but it's not. Don't lie, I whispered, not angry, not loud, not accusing, just certain. She swallowed hard. My son stepped closer to her, confused, worried, searching her face. Lisa, what happened? And that's when it happened. Her eyes shimmered, her chest rose, her voice broke, not fully, but just enough to be heard. Megan, she whispered, you don't want to know. Oh, baby, that's exactly how you know. The truth is darker than you imagined. And we hadn't even reached the real storm yet. You ever felt the whole house go quiet? I mean quiet, the kind that makes your skin feel like it's listening to. That's what fell over my kitchen when Lisa whispered, Megan, you don't want to know, and Lord, that sound, that wasn't fear talking, that was truth trying to crawl its way out and hide again. My son stood there frozen. eyes locked on her face. Lisa, he said gently, who hurt you? She didn't answer. She just wrapped her arms around herself, like the air had turned cold. I stepped closer, slow, careful, not threatening, not nosy, just a woman who's lived long enough to recognize silence with teeth. Baby girl, I said, nobody gets a bruise like that by accident. She swallowed, jaw clenching, her voice barely a breath. It's complicated. Complicated. That word, Lord, that word does more hiding than honesty ever could. My son reached for her hand. Lisa, I'm your husband. You can tell me. She flinched. Not from him touching her, but from what the truth might do once it left her mouth. And that's when I saw it. Real fear, but not of him, and not of me. Of someone else. Lisa sank into the chair slowly, like her legs didn't trust her. My son knelt in front of her, hands on her knees. Please, just talk to us. Her eyes lifted, not to him, to me, and baby. The look she gave me, it wasn't anger, it wasn't defiance, it was a silent question. If I tell you, can you protect him? My heart dropped, because now I knew, whatever she'd been hiding, whatever bruise she carried, whatever phone call came last night, it wasn't about her past relationship, it was about something much bigger, much heavier, much more dangerous. My son's voice shook. Lisa, was it someone you knew before? Someone you dated? She shook her head once, swift, sharp. So that wasn't it. Then she whispered, barely audible. No, it wasn't someone I loved. My stomach twisted. If a woman says that, it means the story ain't romantic, it ain't dramatic, it ain't messy, it's dangerous. I stepped forward. Lisa, baby, we aren't your enemies. Her breath hitched a tiny sound, but enough to break something inside her. Then she whispered, it wasn't an ex. It wasn't a friend. It wasn't a stranger. She paused, and her voice fell to a whisper that felt like a stone dropping into deep water. It was someone oh Lord. That kind of word, that's the kind people use when debts ain't paid in money. My son's face paled. Oh, what does that mean? Lisa covered her face with shaking hands. I can't talk about this. It'll make everything worse. My son's voice cracked. Worse than bruises. Worse than you crying on the driveway. Worse than hiding things from me. The rawness in his voice made my chest ache. Lisa finally looked at him. I'm trying to protect you. Those words hit him like a blow. He sat back slowly, confusion turning into something colder. Fear. Protect me. From what? She shook her head again, eyes filling with tears she never let fall. Megan, she whispered, voice trembling. You weren't supposed to see the bruise. I thought it healed. Healed. Baby. Bruises don't heal that fast. Not unless they've been happening longer than anybody knew. My son ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. Lisa, please. And then, suddenly, she snapped up, panic flooding her face. She grabbed his wrist. Don't talk so loud. The room froze. It was early. Morning. Windows cracked open. Birds outside. No cars on the street. But she acted like someone was on the porch, listening. Watching. Waiting. My son frowned. Lisa, there's no one here. Her voice pressed out in a whisper. You don't know that. I felt something crawl down my spine. Because that wasn't paranoia. That was memory. She turned to me again, eyes pleading. Megan, I need you to trust me. Someone dangerous is involved. Someone who doesn't like people asking questions. I stepped closer. Babe, is this the person who called you last night? Her silence said everything. My son's chest rose and fell faster. Who is he? Just tell me. Lisa shook violently. I can't. If I say his name, if I even talk about him. Her voice cracked like glass. Come back. The way she said it made all the tiny hairs on my arms stand straight up. Not he'll be angry. Not he'll find out. Not he'll cause trouble. No, baby, she said, come back. Meaning, he'd been here before. Maybe in her life, maybe in her past, or maybe right here in my son's world, in this house. Maybe closer than any of us knew. My son grabbed her shoulders. Lisa, please, I can't help you if you don't talk to me. But she pulled away, shaking her head with a kind of terror I've only seen in women who've lived through something they still ain't escaped. Her voice finally dropped into a whisper that seemed too heavy for her small frame to carry. He said, if I ever told you, he'd ruin everything. She looked at my son like he was the light and the danger both, and I believed him. Then she turned to me. Megan, that bruise wasn't from him punishing me. She sucked in a breath. It was from me, trying to stop him. The room went stone still. My son's face drained of color, and I felt something cold settle deep in my bones. Because a bruise you get fighting someone off, that means they weren't trying to hurt you. They were trying to hurt someone else, someone you died to protect. And Lord, I already knew who that someone was. Baby, some truths don't knock on your door, they slip under it, quiet as smoke, and before you know it, your whole house is breathing danger. And that's what Part 8 is. My son stared at Lisa like the earth had dropped out beneath his feet. You tried to stop him, he whispered. Stop him from what? Lisa's lips trembled. She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. Nothing came out. I walked closer, slow and steady like approaching a spooked animal. Baby, I said softly, tell us what he tried to do. Her eyes darted to the window, as if someone might be standing outside, then back to the doorway, then the hallway, like she expected shadows to speak. Megan, she breathed, you don't understand what kind of man he is. I leaned forward, then help me understand. My son reached for her hands again, but she jerked away. Don't touch me, not right now. Her voice cracked. Please. That please wasn't disrespect, it was protection. She was scared, he'd feel her shaking. My son swallowed hard. Lisa, I need you to be honest with me. Lisa stared at him like she wished she could, like honesty was a luxury she couldn't afford. Then her voice broke into a whisper. He came here, once. Silence hit the room like thunder. My son blinked. Came where? Lisa lifted her shaking hand and pointed at the floor. Here, she said, to this house. My stomach dropped. When I asked, her breath hitched. Before we got married, my son stepped back like he'd been slapped. He was in my mother's house. Who let him in? Lisa shook her head violently. No, he didn't. He didn't come inside. He waited. I repeated. She nodded, eyes glistening. In his car, across the street. Watching, night after night. My son's voice cracked. And you didn't tell me. She looked at him with something deeper than guilt. Because you would have confronted him, she whispered, and he would have hurt you, baby. I felt the kind of cold that settles in the bones of old women who've seen too much of the world. This wasn't jealousy. This wasn't drama. This wasn't an old flame with unfinished business. This was a predator, circling, waiting, choosing, timing like a habit. My son kicked the chair back, pacing, breathing hard. Who is this man? Why is he watching you? Why are you protecting him instead of your own husband? Lisa stood, silent tears forming. I'm protecting you, she whispered, from the truth. My son slammed his fist on the table, not at her, but at the frustration boiling inside him. Lisa, I am your husband. I deserve the truth. Lisa lifted her chin, eyes full of fear and something else, resignation. I tried to tell you, she whispered, so many times. But every time I thought about saying his name, I remembered what he did, what he's capable of. I stepped forward, placing my hand on the table. Baby, listen to me, I said. A woman only protects a man like that if she's trapped. She shook her head. No, I wasn't trapped. Her voice lowered. I was connected. Connected. Lord, that word hit me like a cold wave. Connected means history. Connected means leverage. Connected means secrets. But more than that, connected means debt. Lisa finally sank into the chair again, like the weight of everything she'd been carrying was breaking her spine. My mother, she whispered. My son froze mid-step. What about her? He asked. Lisa stared at the table, her voice barely audible. She made a mistake years ago, a financial one, a dangerous one, and she couldn't pay it back. What does that have to do with you? He asked softly. Lisa wiped her cheek with the back of her hand. He came to collect, she said, but my mother was dying. She had nothing left. So, she inhaled sharply. I took her place, baby. Something inside me cracked. Not for Lisa's lies. Not for her secrets, but for that choice. Women sacrifice themselves in ways the world never sees. My son whispered, horrified. You made a deal with him. Lisa's face folded with shame. Yes. What kind of deal? She shook her head, tears finally rolling. The kind you can't walk away from. The kind where you don't say no. The kind where he owns pieces of your life you didn't even know could be owned. I felt my hand tightening around the edge of the counter. Did he hurt you? I asked softly. Lisa didn't answer. And that silence, baby, that silence was a scream. My son sat down across from her, shaking. You should have told me, he said. I tried, she whispered, voice cracking. The night I cried on the driveway, that was the night I found out he was back in town. She closed her eyes. He wants what he's owed. My son's voice trembled, which is what. Lisa looked at him, really looked, with a kind of sorrow that made my chest ache. You, she whispered, but my son's whole body froze. Me, Lisa nodded miserably. He said, the only way to settle the debt now is to take away something I love, baby. The air disappeared from the room. My son leaned back like someone had ripped the breath from his lungs. Me, he whispered. Why me? Lisa sobbed softly. Because he knows losing you would break me. I felt my heart crack in half. Not because of him. Not because of her. But because danger had stopped knocking and walked right into my family. Some fears sit in your chest like a stone, but some fears have a heartbeat of their own. And that's what walked into our morning in part 9. My son sat there, breathing like the world had sucked the air out of his lungs. Lisa, he whispered, voice hollow. He wants me. As payment. Lisa couldn't even look at him. It's not you he wants. It's your life, your peace, your future, whatever hurts me most. My son slapped a hand over his mouth, trying to steady himself. I could see it. The heartbreak, the confusion, the rage all twisting inside him like tangled wire. He stood up fast, chair scraping the floor. So he's threatening us, he demanded. Lisa looked terrified at the word threatening. Megan, she whispered, turning toward me like a child seeking protection. You don't understand. He doesn't make threats. He makes promises. The way she said it. Lord, I felt the whole floor shift under my feet. My son ripped his hands through his hair, pacing again. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Why hide all this? Why let him anywhere near our lives? Lisa tried to speak, but all that came out was a broken whisper. Because he said, if I told you, he'd show up here, in person. She looked toward the front door. And he keeps his word. Baby, I swear the house got colder. The kind of cold that doesn't come from the air, but from realization. From something finally clicking into place. Because, suddenly, all of Lisa's strange moments made sense. Her jumpiness, the whispers, the secrets, the late night crying. The way her smile never reached her eyes. She wasn't hiding guilt. She was hiding danger. I stepped closer, my voice steady as bedrock. What's this man's name? Lisa flinched, like the name itself could hurt someone. I can't say it, she whispered. Not here. My son slammed his fist on the table again, louder this time. Lisa, stop acting like his name is a curse. Just tell us. No, she cried, grabbing his wrist. Please don't say things like that in this house. You don't know what you're inviting. He yanked his arm away, frustration boiling, and I stepped between them, softer than both of them expected. Baby girl, I said gently to Lisa, there's something you're not saying. Her tears spilled over as she whispered, I think he's watching us again. My son froze. I froze. What? He breathed. She pointed at the window. Last night, the night I cried, I thought I saw his car, same model, same lights, same way he parks 2 houses down, half under the street lamp. My heart stopped. Did you see him? I asked. No, she whispered, but with him, you don't have to. My son grabbed his phone with trembling hands. I'm calling the police. Lisa lunged forward, slapping his hand down. No cops. That's the one line you can't cross. What? He's stalking you. She shook her head violently. If you call the police, he'll know. And if he knows, he'll come here. My son looked at her like she'd lost her mind. I want him to come here, he growled. Let him try something. Lisa grabbed his face between her hands. If he comes here, he won't come for me. Then she looked straight at me. He'll come for the people I love. And baby, I felt my blood run cold. Because I understood something my son didn't. A man who threatens from a distance, he ain't scared of being seen. He's biding time. A man who watches from cars, he ain't hiding, he's studying. A man who uses fear to control a woman, that's a man who knows exactly where to hit her. And hitting her means hitting us. My son staggered back, voice breaking. How long has this been going on? Lisa wiped her cheeks. For years, he repeated, devastated. She nodded. He found out where my mother lived. He found where I worked. He even showed up at my apartment once. My son's voice was a whisper. And what did he want from you? Lisa looked down at her hands. The same thing he wants now. And what is that? She hesitated a long, painful moment. Then she said the one thing I wasn't expecting. Control. The word echoed in the kitchen like a warning bell. My son sank into the chair, shoulders shaking. All this time, you've been protecting us from him. Lisa nodded. And protecting yourself, I added gently. She shook her head. No, I stopped protecting myself a long time ago. Now I'm just trying to protect him. She glanced at my son. And you? Her voice cracked. Some endings don't come with doors slamming or people walking out. Some endings come soft, almost quiet, like God whispering, it's over now. And that's exactly what that night felt like. Because after everything, the shouting, the secrets, the pain everyone tried to bury under tidy smiles, there came a strange, unfamiliar silence in my house. Not the cold kind. Not the angry kind. The kind that feels like the storm. Finally got tired. Lisa sat at my kitchen table, shoulders small, eyes red, her fingers still wrapped around that little silver ring she'd been clenching all day, that the symbolic piece of her pain, the thing she'd nearly thrown away when anger blinded her. And Marcus, my son, stood by the doorway like a man who finally realized he'd been fighting the wrong enemy his whole life. But baby, before we could even start talking, before anyone could say, I'm sorry, something in me shifted as a mother, as a woman who raised a child alone. I'd carried every mistake he ever made like it was chained to my own spine. But tonight, I didn't feel that weight. Tonight, I saw Marcus not as my child, but as a man who had run out of places to hide from the truth. And Lisa, as a woman who learned how to survive pain nobody saw. I pulled out the chair beside her and sat down slow, like my bones were negotiating with life again. Baby, I whispered, touching her knuckles, you tell me the whole truth now. No fear, no hiding, not from me. She inhaled a long, trembling breath, and then her voice cracked open like a wounded thing refusing to stay silent anymore. I wasn't trying to take revenge on him, she said. I was trying to protect myself, before he destroyed everything I was holding together. Marcus flinched like she had stabbed him straight through the ribs, but she kept going. I wanted you to know the truth, Mama, because you deserved to know, because you're the only one he listens to, and the only one I trusted enough to tell. My heart burned at that. Not with anger, with sorrow so deep it hit the floor. Marcus stepped forward finally, voice low, rough, honest in a way I hadn't heard since he was a boy, confessing to breaking my lamp on purpose. I didn't love right, he admitted. I didn't listen. I didn't care. I let my own anger chew through everything she tried to build with me. His voice cracked, and I didn't want to face it, because I knew once she said it out loud, I couldn't pretend anymore, baby. Sometimes the truth tastes like blood, but it frees you. Lisa's eyes lifted to him, not soft, not forgiving, but open enough to hear. That's when I knew this marriage wasn't over, but it damn sure wasn't safe either. Put my hands on both of theirs, steady, firm, like a bridge holding two broken banks together. Listen to me, I said, my house ain't a battlefield. If you two gone tear each other apart, you can do it outside these doors. But if you've gone, try to fix this, then you gone, do it with honesty, not war. Lisa nodded slowly. Marcus swallowed hard, and then, that ring she'd been holding, she placed it on the table, a symbol not of leaving but of pausing. I'm not giving up, she whispered, but I'm not pretending anymore either. Marcus reached out like he wanted to pick it up, but he froze. He knew it wasn't his to touch yet. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling the longest breath I'd held in years. The storm had passed. Nobody lost, but the truth stood tall between them. And for the first time, there was room for something real to grow. A slow forgiveness. The kind that don't come easy, the kind that don't come quick, but the kind that lasts. And baby, when they finally walked out my door that night, side by side but not quite together yet, I sat alone in my quiet kitchen, staring at that empty doorway, whispering, love is work, and work is sometimes an act of faith. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I felt peace settle in my chest like a warm hand. My family wasn't healed, but it was no longer breaking. And sometimes, baby, that's enough to begin again. Just tell me, if this story touched even a small corner of your heart, then don't you walk away quiet. Go on now. Tell Grandma where you're watching from. I love knowing which city my babies sit in when they hear my truth. And if you felt that sting, that moment where you said, Lord, I know this pain, then tap that like button real gentle. Subscribe to, 'cause Grandma got a whole lot more to tell. And maybe, just maybe, your own story could help another soul tonight.